My name is Robin. I'm a certified financial planner, certified private wealth advisor, wealth manager by trade, and your rich auntie. So today I'm going to talk about student loan debt. And I alluded to student loan debt in some of my earlier videos, but I feel this topic deserves its own video and probably several videos. As a wealth manager and financial advisor, one of the biggest barriers I have seen in creating and sustaining generational wealth is student loans. And it breaks my heart because oftentimes people who have the highest student loans amount are women and people of color. So this is likely going to be the first of several videos on student loan debt. But oftentimes when the person with student loan debt comes to see me, in some ways it's too late. The only way that they can tackle this is pay it off. I wish I had been able to catch them when they were 17 or 18, getting ready to go to college and signing all this debt paperwork to give them some advice on the best way to go about it. I feel that there's more of an interest in student loan debt now because so many Americans are carrying the burden of student loan debt. I am also part of a nonprofit called Elbow Room, the movement to end student loan debt. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It is an organization, a nonprofit created to basically work with Americans to pay off their student loan debt and basically end the concept of student loan debt. Now, we are having an event in the San Francisco Bay Area on July 24th, 2024. Flame Monroe, the comedian, will be there, so it will be a fundraiser and a show. I will put information in the box below about the event, how to purchase a ticket if you are interested in attending. If you are passionate about student loans and student loan debt, please consider attending. It's going to be a lot of fun. So let me tell you how I see student loan debt as a wealth manager and as a financial advisor. I see it potentially as a necessary evil. I had student loan debt at one point in my life, and it allowed me to get a bachelor's degree and a master's degree, and to go on to be able to achieve in a profession that requires at least a bachelor's degree. I was able to pay off my student loan debt during a period of record low interest rates, and I was able to pay that debt off completely by the time I was 30. I went to two very expensive private schools. I went to NYU was my graduate school, and I went to a very expensive private undergraduate school. I was profoundly lucky. And I worked profoundly hard. I had multiple jobs while I was at NYU and at these private schools to make sure that my student loan debt didn't get out of control. I also had two very loving parents, my mom and my dad, that paid the way for my undergraduate experience. So I had a bunch of factors working together. It still took me all in all 7 to 8 years to pay back the student loan debt. But once it was done, it was done. I wish I could go back in time to talk to people who are young, 17, 18 years old. And this is what I would say as a financial advisor and as a wealth manager. Number one, never borrow more than your anticipated first year's salary. That's the tipping point where I see people get into trouble. Okay, let's say you pursue a legal career. Your first year's salary is $150,000 a year, and you borrowed $120,000 a year. It's going to be tight for a few years, but you could pay that off. It's a huge problem if you decide to become, let's say, a social worker. Your anticipated first year salary is $60,000, and you borrowed that same $120,000 a year. Basically, you're not going to be able to reasonably pay that off at a reasonable rate to A, beat interest rates, and B, be able to pay it off where it doesn't have broad impact in your life. If you're paying 20, 30 years on a student loan, that's basically having very broad and very far-reaching impact on your complete financial life. Any student loans, you want to try to pay them off at maximum in 10 years' time. The second thing I would tell a 17 or 18-year-old who is just starting out, you need to research your major and you need to research your chosen field or occupation and understand what the earning capacity is in the first 10 years of that field. For example, I'm not going to beat up on social workers, but I'm just going to use social work as an example. If you want to become a social work and you realize the average anticipated first year salary is $60,000 and 10 years into the field the average social worker is earning $75,000, you may not want to borrow a whole lot of money because that field doesn't have a very rapid rise in earning capacity. Pretty much you're going to be earning within a set band for an entire career, and paying back some six figure level of student loan debt is likely going to be onerous or impossible. Let's use the lawyer example. You discover that your first year legal salary is on average $100,000, and 10 years into the field, the area of specialty, let's say you're going to do patent law, the average patent lawyer is earning $280,000. You could borrow more. Why? Because your earning trajectory is much higher than a social worker. I still give the same advice that you really shouldn't be borrowing more than your anticipated first year's salary. But if you have a very, very wide salary band, there's a greater chance that you can pay back a greater sum of money over time than if you have a field with a very narrow band. I really think this is a missed opportunity for a lot of young people. Lord knows I didn't do research on my field when I majored in college or in grad school. My college major was pretty tight. My grad school major, I think I would have chose differently, but it's very, very important. This is a massive investment a young person is making in their future, and they need to understand what they're going to be earning and if that is in alignment with their personal expectations when they graduate. Some people may do some research and make a completely different career choice based on the information that they found out during this period of researching the anticipated first year and first 10 years salary of a specific field. The third thing that I would tell someone who is 17 or 18 or just starting out is plan to live like a monk for the first 2 years after you graduate college. Reason being, I see a lot of young people who, they've lived like a monk during the 4 years of college. They're eager to get out there. They want an apartment. They want a car. Oftentimes, they're in a rush to recreate the lifestyle that their parents were able to give them. But what they don't understand is the lifestyle that the parents gave them was often 20, 30, maybe even more years of hard work and sacrifice. If you can live below your means for 2 years and really get a head start on paying off that student loan debt. Essentially, you're living like a monk. If you can live with your parents, live with your parents. If you have to live with roommates, live with roommates. If you have to drive a beater of a car, drive a beater of a car. It's just for 2 years. But every excess penny you have is going to go towards paying off the student loan debt. When I see out of control student loan debt, it's often because the person didn't make payments, they deferred or went into forbearance during the first few years of payments, or they didn't make significant payments in the first few years. And so compounding interest had a chance to take over. Eventually it caught fire, and once something catches fire, it becomes impossible to rein that in and get that under control. If that person had just been willing to live a modest lifestyle for the first 2 years out of graduation, they wouldn't be dealing with this problem of out of control student loan debt. So there you have it. Those are 3 tips I see as a wealth manager for someone who is young and just starting out about student loan debt. I have many more thoughts about student loan debt, and I'll do other videos on student loan debt. But I wanted to put my voice out there as someone who is concerned about the level of student loan debt and concerned about the impact that it has on people, especially women and people of color, in building generational wealth. If you found this video useful, please like, please share, and please subscribe. Thank you.